Milton alone, of all other writers and poets, seriously tried to fuse the spirits of the Renaissance as well as the Reformation together. This is not exactly my view. I'm interpreting the great old historian of English literature, Emile Leguy. So, what Leguy implies is that in Milton there is a perfect balance or perfect mixture of both the Renaissance spirit of revival of the classical art, literature, etc., as well as serious inputs from the biblical tradition. Reformation was essentially a biblical tradition insofar as all the Protestants, especially Puritans, while they rejected institutional parts of Catholicism, they stuck close to Bible or as they understand the Bible. So this fusion is seen in its highest form or greatest form in Milton's Paradise Lost. Here, the structure is that of an epic, which is a classical genre, Greek and then Roman, Italian also, Dante Divine Comedy, the Iliad, Aeneid, Divine Comedy, etc. So the structure is that of an epic. The theme, however, is biblical, at least apparently so. Though Paradise Lost is much more than a rereading of the biblical story of human's origin, however, at its root it is this story. So we can say, in other words, that the story of the Bible, the creation story of the Bible, especially or specifically the Old Testament, was recast in the form of a classical literary genre, that is the epic form. In other words, we can also say that in Milton there is a perfect admixture of the Hellenic and the Hebraic. Perfect as an adjective, of course, is redoubtable, but it's subjective, even if you don't like it, but admixture is there. The Hellenic is the Greco-Roman tradition, the Greek tradition basically, of epic, the classical form, and the Hebraic from Hebrew, the biblical element. That is why in the invocation, while keeping true to the epic tradition, keeping himself true to the epic tradition, he invokes the muse. At the same time, he gives sufficient pointers to prove or to make it evident that his muse is not one of the 9 muses of Greek myth. It is God himself, Jehovah, as you call it. So, sing heavenly muse, that muse who inspired Moses, who gave him commandments. It cannot be the muse of Greece or even Rome. It is the God of the Old Testament, whose proper name is Jehovah, and in the New Testament, more famously known as God the Father, Father of Christ, etc. So, this is one of the very good ways to look at Paradise Lost as an artifact. Thematically, of course, there are more things to it we'll discuss subsequently. Thank you so much.